Welcome back to another episode of Kotlin Bootcamp for programmers. In this episode, I'm going to teach you about the higher order function. What is higher order functions? A higher order function is a function that takes another function as a parameter and or return a function. So, in this episode, I'm going to show you two examples. One for taking a function as a parameter. The second example should return a function as a parameter. Now, first let's create a function. Our function will be calculate. Our function will be calculate something. So the first parameter will be x. It will be integer, and the second one, let's keep it y and also integer. Here we have a operation, and this operation is the function name. This operation is the function name. We can make it anything we want. And now here we have to specify the prototype of the function. How? The prototype of the function means it should take two parameters, they are integer, and now after taking two parameters as integer, it should return value in integer type. So our function is like this. It takes two parameters and it returns two parameters. In our property, that we want to get or take function as a parameter, we have to specify the function name. We can make it is a name. We can specify anything. It's like y, or it's an x. We can name it as a z or anything we want. And now this is very important, the prototype. This function that it will take as a parameter, it should take two parameters as an input, and it will return an integer as a value. Now this whole function, this calculate function, will return an integer value for us. And now what it do? It will return this this whole function will return this z function or z function, and the z function will take x and y as a parameter. Now for return z and y, let's create another function that we should send that function inside this calculate. I want to create a function called sum. This function sum will take two parameters, x and y, integer. They are both integer. And now this sum will add two value for us, x plus y. Now I want to send this sum x plus y to calculate function. Inside the main function, I have to create a value sum result and equal to. Now I have to call the calculate. The calculate function takes three parameters. First one is x. We can pass it anything. For example, I want to pass 4. And the second one is y. I can pass 5. And the third one, it needs a function. It don't need a parameter. I cannot send 5 because it will get an error. See the error. The integer literal does not conform to the expected type integer, and it return integer. Now for this purpose, as you see, it takes two parameters. As I mentioned, x will goes to here in this integer, and y will goes to here this integer, and it will return this value. X and y will return as this integer. Now I want to send that sum function here. I want to send that sum function as here. I cannot send a function as a parameter like this. Require type something else, and because if I call like this sum, and I have to specify its value 4 and 5 for example, but I'm not sending the function. I'm not calling the function. If I use like this, I'm calling the function. I don't want to call here. I want to send this function as an argument for this function. How I can do that? You have to type two colon before the function name. Before the function name, you have to type two colon because it will understand that you are sending a function name as an argument. Now let's send another functions. For example, val I wanna send a multiply function. Multiply result equal, and now calculate same thing. I wanna again calculate 4 and 5, and here I, instead of sum I created here, I wanna send a new function. I wanna create it here. Same thing I created here. How I can create a lambda function without name, a function without name. I discussed about the lambda function in the previous episode. You can check it out. I'm not covering that here. Now I want to send a function here. So for sending a function here, I have to create a function without name. How I can create a function without name? First, I have to specify the arguments that you want to get. I'm getting the A and B. It gets argument A and B, and then we have to specify this arrow key, and after arrow key we have to mention our calculation. We have to return something. I'm returning A times B because we want to multiply two numbers. Now in the third value I'm sending this, and Kotlin told us, or Kotlin always suggests us to remove this one to outside this brackets. If you see here it is underlying something, and if I go back to look at this, lambda argument should be moved to out of parentheses. I want to move this lambda as out of parentheses. If you press alt enter, so and enter, you will be out of this parenthesis. Now we have calculate 4 5 and we are out of parentheses. Now I want to print the two number, and this first one is sum result. I want to print sum result, and the second one is multiply result, and I want to print multiply result here. Now let's see our example what we will get here. So we are getting the sum result as 9, 4 and 5 is 9. You are sending this function to here, and this calculate will calculate this function for us, and I means this here we are calling this function with different name. We are calling this function. Actually what this code does behind the scene, it will call this function with different name. It means we are sending the concept of this function to this z, and it will return for us that concept of that function with these values. Now here we are getting the result as a 9, and here the multiply will be 20 because 4 and 5 will become 20, and here we are sending a lambda function to our parameters. Now let's see how we can return a function. Here we are sending a function. How we can return a function? Here we are returning integer. How we can return an integer? How we can return a lambda, or how we can return a function from function. Now I want to create a function called operation. So this was for that. I want to create a function called operation, and this operation will get integer value, and it will return an integer. And now this function will return a function. For example, I want to keep it as a 45 right now. I'm getting error here because it is not a lambda. It needs a type of this int. Now we have to create a function that takes integer value and return integer value. This operation here send, or this is the simple function we are using. The operation is the function name, parenthesis, and after parenthesis we have to specify the data type or the concept of function. The concept of function is like you have to get argument. When we get argument, it should be inside the parenthesis. It means it is argument, and we are sending. If we want to return something, it should be after arrow key. It is the returning value here. Now I want to keep this as it is right now, and I want to create a new function. Let's create a function to calculate for us the square of a number, because it takes only one parameters. It takes any parameter we want, and we have to specify the data type, and then this x should be times x. Means this we have to multiply x 2 times. Now you are getting the square. It takes only one integer value, and it is returning one integer value here. For this return, I want to return this here. I want to return a square. How we can do this? I have to specify the square. Keep remember that we cannot call. It is not calling. It is returning the concept of this function. Means it is returning the type of, or the prototype of this function as a returning type. I want to keep as it is. I want to remove this parenthesis, and now before this I told that you have to specify 2 colon here. If you specify 2 colon before the function name, so it will return the concept of this function. Now inside the main, we can call that function here. I want to call val function operation. Now inside operation, we are sending this square, and this square takes x, and it will multiply as the x. Now this function, you are storing the function inside that. You are storing this operation inside this function. Now we can call that function here. Let's see the magic right now. You are sending a function. You are returning a function from this to this. Now this is a function. You can call this function. For example, how you can call this? Now you can call println function, and it takes an argument right now. If I print this right now, let's see, it need an argument here like this x. Now let's see what we get result if we don't pass an argument to our function. I'm not getting anything in the print. I'm just getting the function Kotlin. Let's save the function. If I press do something like, if I send some value to our function, definitely we will get the square root of this 4. Now if I run the program again, let's see, this operation will return as this square function for us, and this square function will store to this function, and we are calling that function here with number 4, and we are getting the result as a 16. Or we can remove inside, if we have only one square, even we can remove this parenthesis also. I can get only this, Ctrl X. I can remove all of these lines until this integer. Now I want to store equal just that square sign. I means it will automatically return for us. It is very simple in Kotlin. Your codes will become very less. I love the Kotlin very much because of this coding declaration. Now this is it for this video. If you like the video, please thumbs up. If you don't like the video, or if you have any suggestions, please comment below. If you are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notification, that you will be the first one to get notified and to get my new and interesting tutorials about Android and Kotlin, about programming language. See you soon on the next video.